Welcome to Kayla's Spiritual Talk Show. Today we have Stephanie with us, and she is a writer, a mystic, a medium. And what else?
um, a mom, gardener, crafter. Yeah, so many things.
Yeah. So I first thing is when we do these type of talk shows, eventually, like first I like to talk about some things, and then we go through. We have a little series called "Questions by Micah," where Micah asks questions that you get to answer, even though I may know the
Okay.
answers already. But Micah wants to know your answers. So,
Okay.
okay. So first thing is first. Let's go with what is the are things that stopped you from doing your spiritual gifts?
Lack of confidence, for sure. I have pretty much struggled with confidence for a very long time since I was a kid. So this is like a childhood um thing I've been working on. And, I know those tend to, if they come from childhood, they can sometimes be more difficult to overcome. So I'm still working on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all are. And,
Yeah.
the one of the biggest fears I think the spiritual community has is the fear of being seen. And um it's just a big thing. And like once you're seen and you get out there and you start doing it, and it's like just taking those first steps really just does it. It makes this comes from curating yourself so much to be acceptable that eventually you get, you know, resentful of showing the self that you created. And so we isolate. And then getting out there, it becomes easier actually. I know that this is a hot take, but it's easier to just leave that behind and then just become your authentic self and just show it. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh, everybody would have liked me anyways. I don't know why I had all those thoughts. Um, and I've noticed too with other people who they stop their gifts or they stop practicing magic or whatever you want to call it. The first thing is guilt, feeling guilty that you even have the gifts too, but in realizing that, everybody does have them, but in the beginning, you don't think that because you're like, oh my God, I'm become psychic or or whatever it is you first find your reference point with. Um, Doubt, knowing like, am I doing this wrong? There's no way to
Yeah.
do it wrong, right? Um, do I really deserve this? That's another one I've noticed. Yes, you do deserve this. You're doing the work, right? Everybody who's doing the work deserves this. Um, is it really bad or evil or unfair? What do you think about that?
Mm. I don't think so.
There.
I think that it can be used nefariously,
Mhm.
for sure. But I do believe that that will eventually make its way back to you if you do that.
Yeah.
Um, and going back to one of your original statements, if yes, people will like you if you put yourself out there, and if they don't, because not everyone is gonna like me, not everyone is for me, and that's okay. And
Mm.
yes, it still hurts. Like, I was actually rejected this morning, and I woke up really sad.
What? What did you do?
I went on my first date in 6 years,
Oh my gosh.
and they rejected me this morning after it, and I was like, "Okay."
How did the day go, if you don't mind me asking?
It was more kind of like an interview. It was
Wow.
very, yeah, it was very, which is fine. I appreciate that or she knows what she wants. Or they actually didn't ask.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she didn't want. And you know. that's an important thing to know and
Mhm.
to be able to say that's not for me. Like there is definitely power in anything to be able to say and know that something's not for you.
Yeah, I didn't deal with rejection great. Like, I was like, "Excuse you?" But yeah, once you get over that hump of rejection, a lot of us women have because of like Lilith, that Lilith part, being rejected um, yeah, so that's amazing, and you're fine with it, and everything went, and you're just like, okay,
I mean, as I said, I was sad and I was like, well, I just have to feel my sadness and it'll go away.
yeah, and nothing lasts forever.
So, yeah. So it's okay. It's
Um,
okay.
so then there's some other things about spirituality and our progress in it and our journey. Um, what I've learned from this, it too, it's not like a deserving thing, it's not a worth thing, it's more of an effort thing. And that I think that's the biggest confusion that we have in this community. And all you have to do is take the steps, and then it works from there. And it's like they place land beneath your feet every time you take a step.
Hmm.
That's like really nice during our spiritual journey. And so dealing with rejection and moving past it that easily, that's nice. That's good. Okay,
Hmm.
so now we're gonna start questions by Micah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Okay, so the first she wanted to ask about your mediumship. Okay. First question. Is it like the sixth sense?
That the first answer that came into my head was a little complicated because I am the kind of person that's very open in ways, and I believe anything can be how you make it to be or how you want to see it. So, yes and no would be my answer. That no, it isn't exactly like the sixth sense in that
Do you see like the images like in front of you, or is it different for you? Like everybody's is different. I know that, but
sometimes I actually can't. Yeah, that's a great question. Because when I have feel like I've seen things outside, but I also see things in my mind's eye.
mhm.
Um, so sometimes I do, but it's never like, oh, look, there's this person there. But I'm reminded of, okay, this story where I have a guru and I met my guru, and I'm a horrible student. Let me just put that out there first, okay?
Me too.
So, but that's fine. And it was at this high school in the area, and there was a talk, there was dancing, there was food. And at the end of it, I was there as like a reconnaissance mission. I was like, who is this person? What is happening here? I was very
Yeah.
skeptical, okay? And then and I fell asleep through part of it too. And I saw him coming around the corner and there was a big window, and as he passed the window, he just turned completely into light. And then he walked out of the window and he was back into not being light. And there was a person next to him. Like I actually saw a person next to him. And I was like, oh, who's that person? And then after the meeting thing, I went home and I looked online and I looked it up. And that person that I saw was his guru who had died like 5 years ago or 5 years
God,
prior.
wow, that's amazing.
And I was like, oh. Well, that's interesting.
And that's
Um,
for that answer. Yeah. So it is and it isn't. Sometimes you see it and sometimes you don't. So it depends on the spirit.
and I do think that, and movies do often do a disservice to mediumship because it isn't always super interesting. And I mean, that came out kind of wrong, but
No,
like
but
it
it
isn't
is
always
though.
like
Like you're right.
things are flying around and,
It's really rare for it to be exciting. And then usually it's not good. It's exciting.
right. That doesn't make good television.
Uh, okay. I wanted to go a little bit into something else too. So what is
Yeah.
the goal of the mediumship then when you're connecting? What is your goal?
I want to always go in with the intention for my highest good and the highest good of all involved,
Mhm.
and to maybe help somebody. Well, I don't, maybe not help, to guide somebody into healing, into, this is a great question. I'm struggling.
It's okay. No, yeah. This is one of Micah's questions.
Yeah. But I always want
It,
to,
though, like that is the goal. It's, it's connection.
yes, yes. And because a lot of people who seek out mediumship are in grief, and it can be very heavy. And I've been there. My dad has passed away. I've had a bunch of other people pass away in my life, and when you're there, not everybody, but when I was there, I wanted to know, are they still around?
Mhm.
Or I wanted to connect with them, like you're saying. So when you're in grief, I couldn't really do that when I was in grief. And so sometimes it helps to go to somebody who can maybe do that
Mm.
and say, "Hey, it's okay."
It's like a connection doula,
Yeah,
your connection.
spirit connections. Mm,
Okay, here's another question by Micah. Here we go. Ready?
yes.
Do dead people have otherworldly knowledge?
Hmm.
I have my own thoughts of this too.
Yeah. Oh, I want to hear your thoughts.
So I find that some do and some don't. It depends on the spirit. So I was like, it depends on which spirit you're talking to. Some of them have otherworldly knowledge and will they share it? That's up to them. Depends on how strong your connection to them is. It's more about them sharing it with you. And that's the access and how you connect and the respect and the ethics give you true readings. And when you're working with any spirit, it's about connecting respectfully and consistently and building that relationship. So if you're connecting to people who do have otherworldly knowledge, like famous deceased loved ones or, that kind of thing, then I would say keep connecting, build a relationship to get that otherworldly knowledge, if any. So
Yeah. Yeah. I believe that as well, and that the vastness of knowledge and information is there for anybody to access if they if they try. And
yeah, you just gotta want it.
yeah.
uh,
And sometimes I feel like if you don't connect to it, then maybe it's not time to hear the information, or
yeah. My
um,
dad would always like try to connect to my grandma Helen, because uh, he kept saying that there was money hidden under stairs, and so like that was his otherworldly knowledge was where's the money, but he never found the money under the
oh,
stairs. it. But she kept showing him the picture of it, which is funny to me. So he brings it
Maybe
up consistently.
maybe one day he's like, somebody help me find this money.
Okay, next, do they remember their death?
Hmm. Yeah, that's another great question. I I wouldn't call it memory because in the spirit world, I, th- I feel like to have memory, it kind of need it to be in this realm, right?
I mean, it doesn't feel like a memory. You're right.
Yeah,
It it's a part of their contract, so it's already decided, so they already know it on some level, in my opinion. And
mm,
so to me, it's not a memory, it just is part of them, it's part of their contract, and so they know of it, there's just no thoughts about it, I guess. And so it's not like a normal thing in 3D world. You know, at
yeah.
least that's how I kind of see it.
I feel like the closest analogy may be the same way water could have memory or a rock could have memory. Like it's not there sitting and remembering it like we do, but you can still go, I believe, to that rock or tree and connect with that story.
That leads us to our next question. So that's
Mhm.
perfect. Can you connect with deceased pets and other things besides the deceased loved ones?
Absolutely.
Okay. And
Yeah.
is it just like similar? Is it similar or does it feel different when you're connecting to?
It is different, I feel. And that could just be me.
Mhm.
But I it is different. There's not as much of a I haven't connected with pets a whole lot. So
How
I've
different
only
to like
I
what we work with, like usually, but
so I don't have a ton of reference points, but when I have, it's just been very light and very, oh, here's a pet. I don't
I'll just
know.
like see like when we go on like trance journeys or something, I'll just like see an animal just go. I'm like, was that your cat? Like, yeah, I have a cat that was, and they'll start talking. I'm like, oh, it's in your consciousness. I can see it in your they're protecting you
Oh,
in the other world. And they're like, oh my God.
oh,
And so I see
that's
them
so
like
sweet.
during, yeah, it is sweet because they're always there, helping us. And they wait to come back in too. So you can like, if you've lost a pet, you can put out there, hey, please come back when, you can come back into another body and I will take care of you then too. And then they just kind of come back and you can tell because they have the same mannerisms and people are like, oh God, this really reminds me of my other cat, or this really reminds me of my other dog. I'm like, because it is them. Like you wouldn't have that thought
Oh,
unless it was.
wow. Yeah, I have never actually thought about that, but it makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ready for this next one?
Okay.
Okay. Do you regularly connect with your deceased loved ones?
Ah, some of them, yes.
Okay.
Some of the, you don't want to see everybody again.
I'm like, not right now, Uncle Leonard. I just can't.
But my dad and my grandmother, I have, and it's interesting. My first husband as well, he pops up pretty regularly,
It's always the
and
ones you don't want. Do you see that too?
but I'm okay with him. Like, I think back and I do feel bad because we had somewhat of a tumultuous bleh. I can say words.
I mess up my words all the time.
A rocky relationship. We were very young, like I was 19 or 20 when we got married.
That's young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Do you
but
connect with him? Do you connect with anybody else? Or does he just slip in or like and talk to you, or do you like actively seek him out?
sometimes he comes to me. Um, and sometimes, I think it happens when I'm thinking about him. And I think that is also another way we can connect, even if you think you're not psychic. When you're thinking about someone, you are connecting with
Yes.
them in a way. And so I noticed fairly recently, I was thinking about him, and then he came into one of my dreams. So
And
um,
as a medium, from your professional opinion, is that him?
I I think I think it could be it's a representation of him. I think it is him. Um, I think there's value in that in what he's trying to communicate something, or there's something. Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, and
uh
I know. Isn't it fun?
yeah. Because it is different from if I were to do a mediumship reading and really just connect with them. And is that him? I don't think it's always them. I
And
think,
sometimes too, like I think if we have unfinished business with them, it's
mm,
it will show up. I noticed that with mine. People trying to connect with me and that like that I don't want to connect with, I'll feel them and I'll push them away too. But
uh,
uh for me, I mean, now I was like, you've got to think about this for a minute. Like, the rules kind of change as you grow through your spiritual journey and you become aware of different things in that world as you grow that you weren't aware of before. And this does come to our next question. So I was like, do any other spirits slip into your DMs that aren't supposed to be there?
yes.
That's hilarious. We keep leading right to the next question. But
Yeah.
um, I find that yes, I'll have someone come to me who wants to talk to their mother, and their ex will be there, and I can't get to the mother until they deal with whatever unfinished business was there. And so, like, and then I meant to kind of put it in front of them, um, I get responses differently. Depends on the person, but
Uh, Are you calling me out here?
am I? No,
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
oh,
I just, I felt like, I felt like that was something that possibly happened during one of our sessions.
oh, okay. I was referring to there was a friend I had and her mother because they were like trying to prove like, okay, if you're really a medium and psychic, okay, then talk to her mother. And I was like, well, I can't because the ex is here. So
Well, yeah,
like one of those type of situations.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so I've noticed that happens. Uh, and it's like there's a queue. Sometimes there's a waiting line too that I can see, and I'm like, okay, well, once you finish this, then the next one we'll talk the private dreams here.
Huh,
So I think
yeah.
my experience. What is yours with when you do a mediumship reading? You get the right person every single time?
No,
Okay.
no. And there was one time I don't want to go into detail with it, but this person, a relative came through and it was like an uncle figure. And he just showed me this beautiful, serene beach scene with kids like playing. And I was
Mhm.
like, oh, wow, how sweet. And I told her, and she said, oh, that's the one who abused me as a kid. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. um,
So you were into her pain. Yep. And so that she was holding on to it.
And uh yeah, that was the first time that it ever happened to me. And I I
You,
wasn't sure.
yeah. No, what were you saying? Sorry.
Oh, I wasn't sure how to handle it because I was just like, I didn't mean to.
Yeah. But that was an attachment type of a thing going on. It wasn't settled, whatever happened to her, because, and it's almost like the beach scene was trying to keep her calm, you know?
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. Um, okay. What's your favorite part of a reading?
Mm. Is it is it awful? My first thought was when I'm right.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you hit the nail on the head and you're like, yeah,
You probably that's probably the Capricorn in me. But I really though, really I I love helping people. I do. And I need to help people.
yeah,
And I can do this, and so I really want to help people. And that's what it's all about. And it doesn't I need to let go of that part of me because it doesn't matter. That part of me that's like wanting to be right. And John
you know what?
Edwards,
It changes. No, it's okay though. You have to build
yeah.
validation and you do get like a kick from it. You build up that validation, and then eventually when you're right, like now when I get right, I'm like kind of annoyed because there's been so many times where I didn't listen to it. There's been so many times that I have started doing this type of work and then stopped because of doubt, worrying,
Mhm.
thinking I'm doing something bad, thinking I'm going to hurt somebody. And so now when I'm right, I'm like, gosh, I should have started 10 years ago, you know, or,
Mm,
and so it turns into something different. A reminder, you know?
oh, yeah.
So, and then eventually then that changes and I don't know what's next. So,
Mm.
um, okay. Now, these questions are ones I just normally ask. Those were Micah's questions. So, what started your spiritual journey?
When I was in middle school, I just started having these experiences. And one of them was a spontaneous experience of psychometry. I was sitting on the bus. I had made my best friend a bookmark, and because she was going to move, and the bookmark had a stamp, and it was like, "We'll be best friends forever." And on the back, I wrote, "Even if you have to move," and because they were still kind of debating if they were going to move or not.
Mhm.
And I was sitting on the bus holding it on the way to school, and all of a sudden I see like everything disappeared around me, and I see her. Or I didn't see her, but holding it and someone turning and reading, "Oh, you're going to move." And then that was it. And I was like, okay, that was weird. And then later that day, I go to school, gave her the bookmark. Later that day, she tells me that that's exactly what happened. And I didn't tell her about it because I didn't think anything about it. I just thought that was weird and interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, and I said, oh, wow. And then another time I had this dream and I was talking to the same friend about it at gym outside. And the wind started blowing and started rocking the bleachers. And so we get down, and all of a sudden up in front of us is this cloud, and it was the clear sky before. And that really freaked me out actually. Because it was a completely clear sky. There was no wind that day, and then the wind started blowing and it brought in this random pink cloud that looked like it was like a sunset pink,
Oh my
right?
gosh. Yeah.
And I'm like, let's stop talking about the dream. Um and we do, and the wind dies down and the cloud goes away. So I grew up Christian, and I feel like I was interpreting the things at the time in that framework because that's what
Mm.
I had. Um, and
Doesn't bring you
I,
to fear like every single time.
mm, yeah, yep. So I was very, very scared.
Yeah.
And I didn't really, I had people to talk to about it, but I didn't really have anyone to say, hey, it's really nothing to fear. You
Mhm.
know, this is
Yeah.
what it could be.
Yeah. I know that feeling. And it's like, so after, like, did you go tell your mom like about your incidents or anything? You didn't. Okay. So like after
No.
I found out things about myself, I went to my mom and she's like, don't you dare tell anybody about that. And I'm like,
Ooh.
and so then that stopped me. Um,
Wow, yeah.
like the lack of validation from
Mm.
the parental figure.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Like,
I I stopped myself
mm,
because I just didn't think they'd get it.
I should have done that.
I don't know, same result, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
but then I just had to be a warrior for myself and for my own truth.
Mm.
So it's just a different version of the path, I suppose. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um, what has been the most expansive experience in the spiritual community thus far? Like when you join the spiritual community, what do you feel has expanded you?
Mm. Hmm. Yeah,
That's
that's a
is it too hard?
that's okay. I just had to that's a good question. Um, which now there's a drinking game. Take a sip of water every time I say that's a good question.
You know.
um, I I don't feel myself expanding rapidly. I feel like little lifts. I do this and I lift. I do this and I lift, is
Mhm.
kind of how it has felt more to me. And I might have to think about that question more because if I'm being completely honest, I don't always. eh, This is probably more me where I just have trouble feeling like I belong anywhere.
Oh, yeah, that's all of us in the spiritual. No, we don't say it. We're all just like, yeah, we don't think we belong,
Yeah.
but we all belong to each other.
Yeah.
That's good.
So this is Claire. This help. I think helps me realize I need to um, maybe engage more and figure that out because I'm not totally sure.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah, I think my experiences too, like the most expanding experiences are probably the most undesirable ones that I've experienced.
Oh yeah.
So, like, I'm grateful for them, but yeah, like it was rough. Um, talk, okay. Can you talk about an experience with a spirit that just stands out to you?
Yeah. Um, the first one that popped into my head was there were two spirits who were connected to each other, and it was in my boyfriend at the time, his mom's house, actually. the guy was not had very negative energy. He was a butcher. And before I go into this story, well, I'm sorry. Um, I know this can be a controversial, like a lot of the time I feel like if people go into a house and oh, there's spirits in this house and there are tours, I agree with you that a lot of the time it is they're keeping the energy there and it's not actually spirits there,
Hmm.
right? Um,
Yeah,
uh,
that's what I've noticed majority. Like it's
yeah,
rare to have like a poltergeist, like really rare. And it's really rare to just have a random spirit from another time in your house. Like, yeah,
but
it's not
sometimes I
connected. Sorry.
no, I'm sorry. I do think it is possible sometimes, and especially this is in Maryland. I feel like there were a lot of duels and battles and all
Mhm.
this these things. I mean, they're everywhere, but there were a lot in Maryland. And so I believe this was a person that it possibly happened, and I'm not always right. So anyway, that was a long-winded way of getting to my story. Um, I feel like they were from another time and they lived on that land or near it or something. And they both were living in the house, like not the house that was there, but the land. And the guy was a butcher, but he really enjoyed being a butcher. Like, yeah. And the woman was enslaved, and he
Oh
would take advantage of her. And but they were still connected and like playing out this story.
man.
And um the woman one time was teaching me how to dance. And it was the most interesting thing to try to learn how to dance from a spirit like that. And I don't think it goes back to me being not a bad student. I don't, because she kept being like, no, no, like this. And I was like, oh, da, 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 da. And she, no, no, like this.
It's funny.
But it was fun. It was fun.
Once too. If you don't mind me slipping in here, tell you. And this, it was rare too. And I knew it wasn't a spirit attached to a person that was in the house. It was
Mm,
definitely standing on its own. And we were looking at houses in northern Jersey. There's like there was this old colonial house that, and I was looking at houses with charm because I think it's great.
mm.
And I walked in there, and as soon as I walked in, it was like a shift. You like walk in and it's
Oh,
just like heavy. And I'm like, wait a minute, where am I? And then as soon as we walked into the kitchen or we went into the formal dining, and there's like a door that swings for the servants back then. Um, that was put up in a stopper. And I walked through it and it just unhooked and almost hit me from behind. And I was like,
oh,
oh my God, something's in here and it doesn't want
yeah.
to be here. And then but the realtor, no, and he was just looking at me like, uh,
What?
exactly. And I'm sitting there, is there something wrong? And he wouldn't say anything. I'm like, is there something in this house? He wouldn't say a word. And we get up, there's a third level. And we get up to the third level. And I felt like I was going to throw up at that point.
Mhm.
And I'm like, we have to get out of this house. They don't want me in here and I'm going to listen. I'm not working for these people to clear this out, but it was an upset mother. And it felt like a mother with kids up in that third house. And she wanted me out of that house. This was her
Mm,
house. And that was the one instance where I know for a fact that that one was connected to the house.
mhm,
But it, it's interesting the feelings that you'll have when you enter a house like that. You will be able to feel it. And I do feel it if it's somebody else's like attached to, like it's an attachment that they have that's just living in the house and like whatever
mm,
them. So I can
mhm.
feel it's not like rooted. I guess I don't know. But that's just my
Mm,
experience with it.
yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah. And it's good to listen to those feelings as much as possible.
Like, we are buying this house.
Yeah.
Like, I can't work like this. Um, what understanding have you gained from the unseen world from connecting using your gift?
Uh, that I really know nothing.
That is seriously the first one. Like, we don't know anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, I
And doesn't that
and
expand
that
that one little awareness? Once you have it, doesn't that expand you?
yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
yeah. And that deep down we are all very similar, and we all go through grief and happiness and love, and we all want the same thing essentially, even Trump in a way, like
He's
he's just
lost.
yes, he's doing it in a very negative way, and it's a very confused way.
Yeah, and he thinks it's love. Like, you'll notice all these people
Mhm.
throughout history, they think they're doing the right thing,
Right.
and it's very upsetting. Yeah,
Mhm.
there are consequences, so we'll be get to see those soon.
Yes, yes. It can't come soon enough.
We're all waiting for it, even him.
Oh, yeah.
You can
Oh,
feel it.
for sure, yes. Yep.
All right. Did I skip one? Yeah. So, what have you learned about yourself so far when you go in? Like, you've been going inward and doing work. What have you learned about yourself?
Ooh, a lot. I think going inward is one of the best things we can all do.
Yeah.
And that's where I don't even know where to start with that one. I, yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't,
No, the
what
first thing
have,
I
can,
ever learned about myself was that I was an asshole.
yeah,
And I was like,
yeah,
oh my God, I need to change
yeah,
this now. But yeah, that was mine. Other people, I mean, probably don't have that type of an awakening, but from where I came from, it was.
yeah, that's good. It's a good thing to recognize. Um, yeah, this is another one. I'm gonna have to journal about it. I'm taking notes.
Okay, last but not least, if you could recommend a spiritual book to help people connect to deceased loved ones, what would that be?
Hmm.
Or just a spiritual book that's helped you. It doesn't have to be about mediumship, but
Yeah. Um, so I started after getting into Christianity, I started getting out of it and realizing I wanted to learn about other religions. And the internet like kind of existed at the time with the dial-up modem. And I'd look up, I loved the Indian gods and goddesses and how colorful they were.
yeah.
Um, and then later I got into yoga, like really, really deep into yoga, which I highly recommend for anybody as well, because that actually helped open me up spiritually a lot.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Um,
Was it
because
certain
they're
poses? I mean, was it hip openers?
heart openers.
Oh, the heart openers. Yeah.
Yep, the heart openers really, really helped me. And I read the Bhagavad Gita.
Mm,
And actually that was one of the my first yoga teacher gave me the book, and he said, I think you'll like this. And that really, really opened me at the time as well. And I still think about it too at times because I have a connection to Kali, and just some people interpret it as the internal battle and not an external battle. Sometimes I believe sometimes maybe you do need to battle externally, and you just but I feel like it teaches if you do it from a place of love. But it's a very complicated, and I'm trying to choose my words carefully because you can also think, oh, I'm doing the right battle and not be doing the right battle.
Hmm.
Um, so you definitely have to, like, nonviolence is is the answer.
This is a hard subject. I can't believe I'm right now, but go ahead. Yeah. We were just
um,
conversation too with Micah. I was like, okay, her only solution to all of this is just like they have to go. Like, so violence and like there's a fine line, the law of violence and the law of love. Like, where do we draw the line here?
yeah.
Um, and I think where's the solution that isn't violent?
Hmm.
And this is uncharted territory. We're about to do it. This is, and then who has the authority? Who has the authority
Mm,
to take a soul because they're taking a bunch of souls? And who
yeah.
show that authority on? In the past, the collective has dealt with issues like this through diseases, through plagues, through pandemics, through um, and they were a call for social evolution, a call
Mm.
for change. Yeah, that was a dog. um, and so I don't know if we're going to have more of that coming, which it kind of feels that way, to assist in helping change what's happening. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, ideally, from what I can see, the solution is accountability and enforcing the current rules, right?
Mhm.
And then even changing some of the current rules. But if, you know, sometimes for me, like with the ICC, and them not actually getting Netanyahu or whatever, it's like,
Mhm.
what's the point of the ICC if they're
Right.
not going to follow through with their jurisdiction or whatever they're supposed to be doing? So that we need accountability. And going to this, I stayed up late last night when I didn't mean to, but I came across a live from someone that I follow on TikTok. Their name is Savage Siren. And apparently they and a bunch of other people are really digging into the Epstein files
Mhm.
and like finding they had Sasha Riley on the live.
Oh, wow.
And yeah.
Cool.
And so he was there answering questions, and there are lawyers. There are people actually out there working to find his evidence that has been kind of lost with time, or lost
Cherry
purposefully.
picked to not find, maybe.
Yeah, lost purposefully, yeah.
Yeah.
um and and that's the kind of thing we need more of. So it
Mhm.
doesn't have to necessarily be with the Epstein files, but whatever people feel called to, like, oh, I want to learn more about that. I want to do that. We need more people doing that because they have so much money and people working 80 hours a week, figuring out how to do their horrible things. And we're, I feel, kind of paddling.
Uh,
And
well, I was saying, like, with Mike and I were talking about this earlier. After the Gulf War, um, is what like I think started all these problems because when oil, they're like, okay, we'll end it, we'll stop attacking Iraq and Afghanistan if oil is only measured by the dollar. And so this is where we're having this conflict right now. And what happened was Iran has decided, you know, against the contract, which I agree,
Mm-hmm.
and sold oil not to China on their currency. And so now the US is like, my oil, that's my you need some
Yeah.
patriotism, we go over there and do what we do. And now, but the thing is, they've been hiding this from the people. They don't understand that the narrative they're saying, oh, we need to attack this person. And it's like, because we're stealing, because we're thieving, because all of these awful things that have been hidden from us are now coming to the surface, and all the reasons are coming to the surface. And us consciously have grown. We're looking at this like, I don't remember being able to see, all the awful things. But now with Iran making the videos of all the places we have bombed, all the victims, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, we didn't know majority of those. We didn't know that was going on, and it's very alarming. But I didn't know because I was younger. But I don't know if my parents even knew what was going on. I mean, they listened to the news and they had that narrative going like, we need to do this and we have to do this. And so then they're like, yeah, or everybody just kind of followed along. And now that's not happening. And so
Mm-hmm.
that is the greatest thing that is shifted, I think, in the
Mm-hmm.
United States. And it is so promising. It's so hopeful. People are seeing the truth. And I think that means we're going to change it.
I feel like yes, and I feel good change coming um eventually. And I do feel like that is the beauty of social media, that it's harder for them to manufacture that consent that
Mhm.
they could do so easily back in the 80s, when even with I was reminded of Sarajevo and the
Oh,
horrible things. Gosh.
you just gave me tingles.
Yeah, and back then, and in the 80s I was a kid, so of course
Yeah.
uh no idea, but then it was a lot easier to control the narrative.
Mhm.
And that's why they are trying to grab all the media they can,
Mhm.
including TikTok, CNN. The Ellisons now have both of those, so but they're not going to be able to contain it.
They're not.
No.
And I think we can
And
all feel that, and it's kind of fun.
yeah,
Like, I feel like
yes,
a rebel. I'm like, "Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah?"
yeah, it feels great. And that's why I appreciate seeing you every month, because you've really encouraged me to put myself out there and to do this, because I think the more of us who do this, the more it will actually push back, or create, maybe not even push, but just create the strength
Mhm.
that they can't mess with.
Mm-mm.
And one thing that kind of solidified that for me, I had made a video about the girls' school that
Oh,
and I was sad, and this is where we are. They intentionally go and do these things.
yep.
And then a week later or something, T is out there like, it's irresponsible for anybody to say we intentionally. And I'm like, oh, I'm doing the right thing.
Yeah. He's saying that you're the opposite. Good job.
Yeah. Cool.
Right. Well, let's also tell everybody, how they contact you. How can they get a reading with you?
At the moment, I am doing things through email, and it is the THE dot remembering, REMEMBERING dot room, ROOM, at gmail
And I'll have it
dot
written
com.
down in the comments for everybody too, once I post this. So everybody will have how to contact you. And it's called the
Cool.
Remembrance Room with Stephanie.
The remembering room.
The Remembering Room. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. And it kind of came from, I did this meditation. It's actually a John Edward meditation where you create an office in your mind's eye and you see people in the
That's,
office.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, cool. Very cool. And you can make it look however you want. And it's a very beautiful thing. And you can shut the door or open the door.
That's awesome. I love that. So if you have any message for humanity, what would it be?
um keep going and go hug a tree.
That's great advice. That's great. No, seriously, that's the best you can get. But okay, well, thank you for being here. I really appreciate like this was such an honor for me. I love learning about people and I love inspiring people and I love lifting them up as much as I can. And I just want to thank you for being here and thank you for having courage to do this. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I hope everybody else has a good rest of your day. Thank you for listening. And if you guys were looking for me, my website's www.thelavenderlighthouse.com, and you can get a reading with me, or you can find me on TikTok, K loves you 811, practical awareness and astrology on Patreon. So find us, we're here. And, I'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. You have no idea. This is such a joy. Like I was looking forward to this all week. Like, this was so much fun for me. So thank you.
Good.